For now, please join me in welcoming the 13th President of Lemoyne College, Dr. Fred Pestello.
Thank you, Linda. It's been 10 years since I've been in the classroom, and I wanted to teach here at Lemoyne to get a sense of our students from a faculty member's perspective. But I was also inspired by Dan Orn. In my conversations with him, starting with the very first one, I knew that this is a man that it would be a joy to partner with in the education of our students. So I thank you for those kind words. You know I feel similarly to you, and for those kind words, as of Monday, you'll have a parking spot right in front of Gruett Hall, Dan. Congratulations. Dolphins soaring. Dolphins soaring. That is what appears on my carefully selected tie today. For I can think of no better imagery for this afternoon as I ask you to consider the most important question now before us. What must we do to sustain and enhance Lemoyne's remarkable success? That is the question we should be asking ourselves and each other at this exciting moment in our history. Our answers must shape both our individual and collective action. We are living in troubling economic times. Nearly every sector of the economy is suffering, including higher education. Many colleges and universities are struggling to reach enrollment targets. Tuition discounting is rising. Philanthropic giving is down. Fundraising campaigns are stalled. Endowments have eroded. Operating budgets have shrunk. Bond ratings are being lowered. Borrowing is more difficult. A look at schools in our own region reveals a bleak picture. Some good institutions are in their second or third year of a salary freeze. Many colleges have slowed or frozen hiring. Nationally, the percentage of tenure-line faculty is decreasing. Adjunct use has grown substantially. A number of colleges have been forced to cut position. In one nearby case, hundreds of jobs were eliminated. Layoffs and furloughs, previously a rarity in higher education, are being employed all too frequently as a cost reduction measure. Sabbaticals are being reduced, in some cases eliminated entirely. Colleges are delaying, scaling back, or canceling facilities projects. Discretionary spending is being slashed. And the most vulnerable schools in the nation are closing, merging, or being purchased by for-profit organizations. In addition to this harsh financial reality, this is a time of increased public concern and scrutiny. At all levels, much of what is being written and said about higher education is skeptical or critical. Good, positive media coverage is infrequent. Setting itself apart from this grim reality is our beloved oasis, Lemoyne College. We are truly blessed. Have you ever had a perfect day? A day you will never forget because phenomenal things happened and everything went so well. A day so incredible it's hard to believe that so many terrific elements could come together at one time. For me, June 10, 2010 was such a day. While eating breakfast early that morning, I checked my cell phone. And on the phone, I found an affirming text message from our board chair, Walter Benson. Now, I am sure that you understand that there's no better way for a college president to start the day than with such a note. Walter was offering me congratulations on the impressive article by Glenn Coyne in the Syracuse Post-Standard. I couldn't wait to read it myself, and when I did, I was thrilled. The article was titled, "Lemoyne Reaches for New Heights," and it was hard to miss. It was the lead article which captured most of the front page as well as much of a second. Many of our recent achievements, from record enrollments and success in fundraising to transforming facilities projects and impressive national recognitions, were listed. One media expert in our community later said to me, "You can't buy press like that article." Broadcast media immediately picked up on the story, and I was doing interviews that day and the next, speaking about Lemoyne's many accomplishments. Prominent educational, governmental, and business leaders of our region have congratulated me on the article and the many accomplishments that it outlined. Accomplishments for which you are responsible. After enjoying the excitement generated by the newspaper article, we began the Board of Trustees subcommittee meetings. Each and every committee had significant positive news to discuss. Such an exemplary convergence does not often happen in Board of Trustee work. At the Student Development Committee, we welcomed our new Vice President, Deb Katie Melzer, who I introduced to the campus community earlier that day. And we thank Sean Ward for his 9 years of leadership. As his first board meeting as our new Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Greg Stahl reviewed the results of our remarkable fundraising campaign. The Finance Committee observed that in these difficult economic times, we had yet again managed our finances prudently and ended the year with a healthy net surplus that will allow for additional investment into our facilities. The Investment Committee celebrated the fact that for the first time in our history, our endowment, which had peaked at almost $50 million prior to the meltdown, had surpassed the $100 million milestone earlier in the year. This growth is reflected in Lemoyne having been the #1 private college in the country in year-to-year percentage endowment growth, 07-08, and the #2 liberal arts college in the country in terms of the total number of dollars raised in fiscal year 08. These, of course, are due largely to the amazing McDevitt gift. The Master Plan and Technology Committee analyzed the 5 major construction projects that were underway. Together, they combined, they are the largest building campaign since the college's founding. Academic Affairs studied the impressive credentials of our new tenure-line hires, noted that Lemoyne received funding for faculty projects from both the National Endowment and the National Science Foundation, National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Science Foundation. They applauded the launch of the new Communication and Film Studies Department. The Enrollment Management Committee was struck by Vice President Dennis DePiro's projection that we were about to enroll for a second consecutive year a record class of new full-time undergraduates with another reduction in the discount rate. On top of that, we are holding quality constant while seeing a near doubling of the percentage of out-of-state first-year students. Where better do we see an indication of Lemoyne's growing reputation? Between the incredibly impressive press story and the incredibly good news that was shared across the various subcommittees, everyone was pleased. But the best was yet to come. That evening, we held a series of events on campus to mark the closing of the Achieving New Heights campaign. They were superbly planned and executed. The evening began with a mass of thanksgiving, followed by a formal recognition ceremony for all those involved with the campaign and a donor plaque unveiling. Then a spirited parade march from here in Gruen Hall, led by a marching band and led by our students tossing green and gold confetti. The parade concluded behind the Coyne Science Center, where we held the groundbreaking for the building that will substantially advance teaching and learning in the sciences. The ceremony was initiated by Congressman Maffei, who affirmed the importance of Lemoyne to our region, and concluded with Provost Lemura gingerly maneuvering a huge front loader to move the first pile of dirt. Thankful for having survived the provost operation of a piece of heavy machinery without any injuries or fatalities, the crowd then moved to a large tent next to the PAC for a grand celebration that was as jubilant in spirit as it was delicious in offerings. I left campus that day feeling a profound sense of joy for this organization, for our people, and for what the Lemoyne community has accomplished. During the June 10th celebration and continuing since, participants in that evening's activities have heaped praise on Lemoyne. To give but one example, an accomplished businessman in the area recalled the evening while talking to Vice President Roger Stackpole and me at last month's Gold Wave dinner. He stated that the activities of that evening far exceeded what he had expected and what he was used to here at the college. It was, to his mind, emblematic of what he sees as a new way of proceeding at Lemoyne, one that is at a decidedly higher level of excellence. The recognition we are receiving extends far beyond Syracuse. For the first time, Lemoyne was included in the list of military-friendly schools compiled by GI Jobs magazine. That places us in the top 15% of schools nationally that are taking significant steps to embrace America's veterans. For the second year in a row, the Princeton Review named Lemoyne one of the best colleges in the Northeast. U.S. News and World Report rankings raised us 2 slots among regional colleges. And even more impressive, Lemoyne is ranked number 2 in the region for a strong commitment to teaching, and one of only 4 such colleges that were so identified. Lemoyne is also receiving national recognition for our first-year student reading assignment, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, applauding us for assigning a reading of substance, as well as for being thoughtful about the selection and linking it to a significant event, the marking of the centennial anniversary of Samuel Clemens' death. And by now, I am sure, you all heard about the recently released Washington Monthly rankings. Endorsed by a writer for the Chronicle of Higher Education, Richard Kallenberg, as important for its focus on social mobility, research, and service, the Washington Monthly rankings are an extraordinary affirmation of what you do here at Lemoyne to prepare our students, many from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, for success in life and work. It was thrilling to see that out of 551 master's institutions that were ranked, Lemoyne was number 5, the top 1%. We are enjoying the benefits of a remarkable momentum that has taken hold across campus, one that differentiates us from most colleges, which unfortunately are feeling the brunt of these challenging times. In my first address to you as president, I stated that the key to differentiation distills to 2 critical imperatives. First, articulating and embracing a powerful vision grounded in a compelling mission. And second, an individual and organizational, single-minded focus on excellence in our programs, our processes, and our outcomes. At that time, I asked you to join me and embrace One Lemoyne, an intense campus-wide dialogue grounded in meaningful discussion and resulting in a vision that is true to our mission. Your extraordinary investment in the process has produced an inspiring statement. It is, however, not the One Lemoyne vision itself that has been or will be responsible for all of these achievements. It is the fact that you have rallied to its call. As one trained in the study of organizations and collective action, I see very clearly that we are in a dramatically better place in terms of energy, enthusiasm, optimism, collaboration, communication, and performance than we were just 2 short years ago. You are individually and collectively focusing on excellence in our programs, processes, and outcomes. The improvements that you, the faculty, staff, and administrators of Lemoyne College, have been making are the reason we are doing so well. If you pause and consider all that is changing rapidly and deeply, you cannot help but be amazed. Just consider some of what is undergoing change here at Lemoyne. Personnel review and compensation practices, reconsideration of the core, shifting of personnel, extending shared governance, athletic reclassification, extensive construction, campus-wide changes in grounds and parking, and program elimination, creation, and modification. It's important that you realize that I understand the many sacrifices that are being made across the campus in order to do all that must be done, and done rather quickly, to capitalize on the opportunities of the moment and the strength of our current position. I also want you to know that I realize and appreciate all of the extra effort, inconvenience, and adaptation you have shouldered. I sincerely admire you for it and marvel at both your capacity for change and the goodwill in undertaking it. Thanks to each and every one of you, we are enjoying enormous success at this early stage of our One Lemoyne transformation. I can only begin to imagine the many good things that will follow. Let me now return to the question I posed at the beginning of my remarks. What must we do to sustain and enhance Lemoyne College's remarkable success? In other words, how do we improve upon the heart of what we do, thus keeping our differentiating momentum moving along its impressive trajectory? The answer comes down to 4 essential tasks. First, at the individual level, each one of us must remain passionately committed to excellence. More than anything else, the success we are enjoying is a result of this dedication. You, the Lemoyne faculty, staff, and administrators, make all the difference. From the highly visible accolades, to the improvements we are seeing, to the equally important everyday patterns of interaction. I have heard countless stories about how well people are treated when they visit Lemoyne. I am grateful for your sincere commitment to making Lemoyne better by the day. Second, we must focus on the One Lemoyne strategic plan, our roadmap for the future. Together we have drafted a compelling vision for the college, one that distinguishes Lemoyne as a premier Jesuit Catholic college. Any vision, regardless of its eloquence and loftiness, is simply a document until it is systematically enacted through a closely aligned strategic plan. It is therefore imperative that we take the next steps towards the realization of our vision by creating a strategic plan. The plan will be based on the 6 strategic imperatives to which we have committed ourselves in the One Lemoyne vision. This strategic plan will not only set our future course, but will provide the projected outcomes against which our success will be measured. Further, the strategic plan will inform the case for future fundraising by inspiring donors to align their philanthropy with our most critical needs. Under the leadership of Father David McCallum and the 5 vice presidents, the 6 strategic planning imperative teams are responsible for developing our plan. Like our One Lemoyne vision process, the drafting of the strategic plan is highly inclusive. Nearly 90 members of the faculty, staff, and administration are participating in the 6 teams. These representative groups will continue to lead a deeply inclusive process through the various meetings that will be scheduled, the focus groups that are being planned, a campus-wide survey, and the One Lemoyne portal. In addition, the teams will provide regular communication to the campus to report on their progress. I want to thank everyone who's participating in this effort, particularly the faculty, staff, and administrators who agreed to be members of the 6 teams. The key to the success of this effort is to continue to model the spirit of Cura Personalis, that which is at the very heart of the One Lemoyne process, listening and speaking in candid, respectful, authentic conversation. Our third priority is the core curriculum. Our college's primary commitment is to academic and intellectual excellence. Nowhere should this be more evident for a school like Lemoyne than in our common undergraduate program, CORE. CORE is the single most important way of differentiating a Catholic Jesuit education in the Lemoyne way of proceeding. Last year, Provost Linda Lemura formed a task force on core curriculum revision, co-chaired by Drs. John Langdon and Teresa Beatty. The task force began an 18-month process to develop and pass a core curriculum that captures our best vision of a Catholic Jesuit education, a vision grounded in our mission and reflecting our One Lemoyne vision. I know that the leaders of the task force have been pleased by the amount of participation and the quality of the discourse. I encourage you to continue to plan boldly and honestly, transcending personal interest and divisive academic politics that so often plague such efforts across higher education. I am grateful to you for your investment in this effort to improve our core. The fourth and final area upon which we must focus is personnel practices. During the One Lemoyne process, it became apparent that we were not employing the best personnel practices across all divisions of the college. As I observed last year, it should be axiomatic at any college that performance, promotion, and tenure reviews, as well as compensation practices, be consistent, fair, and aligned with the best practices in higher education. Over the past year, we have made good progress responding to concerns raised about performance reviews, as well as envisioning new practices in faculty and staff compensation and initiating discussions on faculty rank and tenure policies. This year, we must complete our work on these important personnel matters as a means of enhancing organizational excellence. I want to thank everyone who has been involved in the reconsideration and improvement of these policies and practices. In the midst of these distressing times for higher education, Lemoyne stands apart. We have avoided retrenchments, we are undertaking major improvements, and we find ourselves celebrating a string of magnificent successes. The reality of this organization, grounded in our many achievements and newfound optimism, is impressive. A momentum that serves to differentiate us as a premier Jesuit college has taken hold upon the heights. We are on a roll. You, the Lemoyne faculty, staff, and administration, are responsible for it, and the Lemoyne student body, its beneficiary. Together, we have crafted an elegant One Lemoyne vision, a vision of our collective future, while already taking great strides toward achieving it. We are enjoying much recognition and receiving many accolades for our rigorous approach to educating young men and women who leave well prepared for all they will face in life and work. Beckoning us now is the question: what must we do to sustain and enhance our success? We must act on the basis of our answers. As we do, the sense of exhilaration I experienced on June 10th should become a familiar one for everyone here at Lemoyne. May God bless you.